Okay, is it cute? Okay, okay. Good evening. Thank you. I'm Ellen Shaw. I'm the Dean of the Wagner Graduate School of Public Service, and I'm thrilled to see so many of you here. In the room, we have not only prospective students, but a very solid group of both current students and alums, and faculty and staff. So you can tell who's who by the bands around their name tag. So the students are not yet banded because you haven't yet joined, okay? So you just have the white name tags, right? You sign up tonight, we could magic marker your name, but the faculty have a green band around their name tags. The alums have a blue band. The current students have a violet band because that's NYU's colors, I guess, and the staff have an orange band, okay? So tomorrow, of course, is Accepted Students Day, and we hope that we'll see all the prospective students there tomorrow. But we wanted to design something that focused your attention on our efforts around diversity, because this is a really important part of Wagner's theme, and we wanted to create an opportunity, like many of the opportunities we have for current students and alums and staff and faculty during the year, to take some time to focus on diversity. So we've created an event that has many parts to it. That is our want, sitting and moving parts. I sadly have to go teach a course called Reflective Practice. It starts at 6:40, and so I'll be with you just for the beginning, but I'll be with you for the rest of the evening in spirit. And I'm going to do some introductory remarks. Tracy Gardner, our Chief of Staff, is going to introduce, I'm going to introduce Calvin Hadley, who is the head of the Black Student Association. And then Tracy is going to introduce Deshaun Wright, who is our speaker for the evening and alum of whom we are extraordinarily proud, and you'll hear why in a minute. And you're going to get to eat while all this goes on. And then we have a kind of mixer event that is connected to these images you see around the room. So, and David Schachter is going to lead that. So by the end of the evening, we hope you will learn more about Wagner, that you'll meet an amazing group of peers, prospectively, and students and alums, that it will help you answer the question that's on your mind and really on our mind too, which is whether Wagner is right for you. Right? We we recruit hard, we screen carefully, we admit a group of students, and still we want you to make the choice that this is the right community for you to join, because it's a very particular place. It's in the middle of a big city. It's a complicated place. It has urban planning and health and public and nonprofit management and policy and finance, and we think the interesting ideas of the intersection, and that it's all about the mix. But if you're a person who likes to do one thing at a time and who wants only to be with people who are studying what you're studying, this is like not the right school for you, right? Really, and and it's a big place, and we think it's interesting. It's in New York. We think every opportunity is available to you. You can change your mind 16 times while you're here about what you want to do. But again, some people do better in smaller, sort of more organized places, and New York is not either small or organized, and neither is NYU. So this day and a half is really available to you to give you clues about us. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you clues about what's important to us. And if these resonate, we'd love to have you join us. And if they don't resonate, our feelings are not hurt. Right? So you should ask questions. You should engage with others. You should try to get as much out of this day and a half as you can, because it's really designed to give you more information. And the information comes, verbally, but it also comes emotionally, and it comes from getting a sense of this community. And so we've designed it all about that. So I want to tell you a little bit about our commitment to diversity and social justice. A group of us were just out in LA. We call the UCLA school our soul sister school, because 2 years ago we created a dialogue on race in which a traveling team from UCLA came to NYU, and a traveling team from NYU went to UCLA, a team of faculty, staff, students. And we got funding from the Ford Foundation to continue that work, and this year held these dialogues in order to prepare you to tackle the tough work of changing the world. But we also know that the world isn't created equal at the beginning, and that we need to give you the tools to do what one of our alums the other day called an equity analysis. What impact might this have on populations that you care about? And so we're very much in the forefront of trying to lead the schools of public affairs, public service, public management, public administration. We call ourselves lots of names. But we practice what we preach. We try to model the ways in which we think you can engage the world, and this UCLA dialogue is an important aspect of that. The other thing I was just asked to mention is that we know that that an academic education is important, but that internships and experience also matter, and that while you're here, having the chance to hone your ideas about your prospective career through trying out internships is a critical part of your learning. And we were determined to make that more available to people, particularly as the nonprofit sector and the public sector find it more difficult to offer paid internships. So we are very proud to announce that we raised $250,000 this year, and will continue to do this each year. This year we're going to fund 50 students, $5,000 each, to do a paid summer internship of their choice, so it's a competitive process. And lots of our students are working and have internships already while they're going to school, but this is an opportunity for 50 students. It could be in New York, it could be abroad, it could be in another part of the country, to do a paid internship. And it got mentioned, and the person it got mentioned to hadn't heard about it, so someone asked me to make sure that you all knew about this. So it is a tradition here to appreciate, to thank, to notice differences, to believe that a skill that every Wagner student should have when they leave is to be able to work across boundaries of difference. And we find that our student groups, some of which are organized around topics, so there's an urban planning student group, or there's a health student group, or an education reform student group, or an environmental student group, or transportation student group, or I think it goes on and on and on. But many of the groups are organized around identity. So Calvin is the president of the Black Student Association, but there are representatives from other student groups, identity-based student groups, here in the room. And we have found that working together with these student groups has been an incredibly productive part of building our community. We had a town hall 10 days ago, I think, or last week even, I host to say. It's been busy. And we do a student survey, and we learn a lot from students about the positive parts of their experience and what also still needs to be worked on. And the student groups are an incredibly important partner in all of those efforts, in helping us focus our attention where it needs to be focused, and in partnering us with a lot of events, including Diversity and Desserts, which is something we do throughout the year. So I'm sorry that I'm not here to hear Deshaun. He was one of my favorite students when he was at Wagner. He's one of my favorite alums. I'm incredibly proud of the work he's done. He was, of course, with Cory Booker in Newark, and now the Deputy Mayor for Education in DC. And we often talk about our alums as proof of concept, right? When somebody says, what's Wagner about? We say, look at the work our alums are doing. They're doing amazing work. And the alums in this room continue to make us proud and happy from the work they do, our students as well, and we look forward to welcoming a whole new group of prospective students in the fall. It's one of the fun things about being an academic leader is the rhythm continues, and you get to have new beginnings all the time, and then you get these sort of sweet but sad moments of graduation when you hand the baton over to a new group of students. So, Calvin, let me turn this over to you, and thank you all, and wish you a very good evening. Have you boxed in? No. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean, very much for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be up here before you. This is an event that means a lot to the current students, and hopefully it means a lot to the admitted students. A little bit about myself. I'm Calvin Hadley, originally from Los Angeles, California. I'm a second-year graduating student. I can't believe that I graduate next month. But I'm a second-year graduating student, and I'm currently the president of the Black Student Alliance. As the dean mentioned, the Black Student Alliance is one of several cultural identity-based groups on campus. And at this time, before I get into anything about the Black Student Alliance, I would like to first notice the leaders of these other student groups. So if you could, just please stand, state your name and your organization. Student leaders. I guess we'll start on this side of the room.
I'm Carrie Wilson with the Wagner Women's Caucus. Hi, my name is Donia Seidi. I'm Vice President of the WISP, Wagner International Student Society.
I'm Jackie Kennedy. I'm actually the coordinator for the Black Student Alliance.
Hi, I'm Shu Yujo, people from Cary. I'm the president of WISP, Wagner International Student Society.
I'm Douglas Coulter. I'm the co-chair of Stonewall Policy Alliance, the LGBTQ and allies organization.
Hi, I'm Milana Nesher, and I'm the president of the Jewish Wagner Professional Association.
Hi, I'm Guo Jing. I'm second year, and I'm board member of PASA Asia America Students Alliance.
My name is Lizzie Gelber. I am the president of the Wagner Management and Leadership Organization, and I'm also the communication chair of the Wagner Education Policy and Studies Association.
Hi everyone, my name is York. I'm one of the social development chairs at PASA, stand for Asian American Pacific American Society.
Hi, I'm Lidia Coyote. I'm the current president of the Alliance of Latino and Latin American Students.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Lang. I'm the operations officer for Wagner Education Policy Studies Association.
All right. So as you can see by some of our student leaders that stood up, we have a number of identity-based groups on campus. The Black Student Alliance is a group that is very interested in creating cohesion amongst the Black community on campus, but we also have the greater goal of creating cohesion among the community of color on campus. We have an annual event called Diversity and Desserts, which the dean alluded to earlier, in which we get all of the groups of color, or all of the identity-based groups together. And the purpose of this event is to bring together all of the student leaders with all of the administration leaders, and for us to have uninhibited dialogue. I won't go into it too much, but it was at this year's Diversity and Dessert, or at last year's Diversity and Desserts, and Dean Shaw and Dean Schachter, they all know this, that I actually felt like I became a Wagner student. It was the dialogue that was created and the responsiveness that the university had at this event that made me really feel like a part of this community, and subsequently forced me, or really invited me to participate much, much more in the campus. Diversity and Desserts is only one of the events that we have. This past year, the Black Student Alliance also created an event, or also carried on an event called the Faculty, Student, and Administrator of Color Luncheon. And this was an event in which we really wanted to do nothing more than come together, notice that we are a community of color, and that there is power within that community. So for there to be an event like this with so many diverse faces from so many different places, I'm absolutely delighted. With that said, I want to welcome you here. I really want to spend the bulk of this evening getting to know you guys. If you have any questions, one thing they give you at Wagner when you first arrive are business cards. So I have a number of business cards to pass out, and I would love to get to know all of you guys. Thank you very much, and welcome. With that said, okay, we're going to introduce Ms. Eileen Koo.
Hi everyone, welcome. So the next part is more informal. We want to give you time to actually eat your meal, digest it a little bit before we start making it work. So in the center of your tables, you're going to see some dinner conversations cards. They're just conversation starters. And so we have different questions for different types of people sitting at the table. So go ahead, please enjoy your meal. Some of you are a little bit shy and cracking open the wine. Feel free. There's more. And then we'll resume a little bit later at 6:40, which is when I'm going to introduce our Chief of Staff, Tracy Gardner. Thank you.